Sweet. All right, we can praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah, name of His only begotten Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. He gets up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they which testify of me. You will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Allah in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. Another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another and seek not the honor that comes from Allah only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, of whom you trust. But had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Proverbs 16 and 10. Yeah, again. Proverbs 16 and 10. A divine sentence is in the lips of the king. His mouth transgress not in judgment. So, of course, we about those things, and we will bring this particular matter to a close as we get to, Yah willing, to the last 2 days, which we will convene for unleavened bread. So, we've been looking at Revelation 13 a lot, and I want to look at it again. We'll come back over here too. I want you to look at verse 5, and then we'll move to verse 11. And from verse 11 back to Ezekiel chapter 36. There's a reason why I want to take back and look at this here, because now we're going to look at a different aspect of version, shalom, bro, of the divine sentence coming from the lips of the king. Now, of course, we will determine how we're going to view this, how his lips or his mouth is not transgressing the judgment that he is going to meet. Because we will fast forward to the end to a certain extent, so we can knock out a chapter in the book of Ezekiel that we have not reached, so that we can gain some understanding. So that's why we're going to revisit Revelation 13 and Ezekiel 30, because we went over those. 13, make it verse 3. Revelation 13 and 3. It says, and I saw one of his heads that were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast, and they worshiped the serpent which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? It was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Now, I was going to mention this tonight, but I'm going to hold that off. I did find what I was telling you about, what I was looking for, the Royal Order of the Jesters. We'll discuss that a little bit. Y'all familiar with the Shriners? Who in here is not familiar with the Shriners? Oh, you don't know what Shriners are? That is praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. I'm glad you don't. No, I'm not asking, do you know who they are? I'm asking, do you know about the Shriners? Because I know you probably know who they are. You've probably seen them white dudes riding around with them fezzes on their head. You probably done been over there to the Morocco shrine. Do you know that there are 3 branches of Freemasonry? Are you aware of that? Clearly not. You have Prince Hall Freemasonry. That is for black people. That was started by a British man by the name of Prince Hall, because they were not allowed to be Masons in Shalom, man. They weren't allowed to be Masons in America. Black people couldn't be a Mason. So they he went and got a charter made in England, and they allowed him to start a hall of masonry, and it's Prince Hall Freemasonry. And that's what you see a majority of black men are a part of. I think only recently have black men been allowed to join Scottish Rite Freemasonry, which is the Red Lodge, if my memory serves me correctly. And that's 33 degrees. Then you have York Rite Freemasonry, which is the Blue Lodge, and that only has 14 degrees. That's why you see red and blue as forth as Democrat and Republican and things of that nature, because they seem to be opposed to one another, but they're really on the same side. That's why if you can't take anything that comes through. I've been telling y'all this for years. If you take anything that comes through the television seriously, we would have to check you for a stupid virus and not a coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? Because it's only for so long that you can allow somebody to lie to you. See, and you know they lying to you. and you want to believe a liar, you use a special type of stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because you already know that they lying. So why would you believe it? You know what I'm saying? I just seen my homeboy say he get tired of talking to people that say my government or the why would the government do that? Why would they do this when they have a track record of doing it? You know how many times you got to lie to lose all your credibility? One time. That's all you got to do. So when you're dealing with the government and people in authority and power, they lie all the time. So they shouldn't have any credibility in what you say. You have to say allegedly or the official narrative, but you would have to question that because you know they have an agenda and they have an aim. Well, once you become a 14th degree York Rite Freemason or a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason, and if you attain those levels, you have to be chosen to get to that point. They send you to Washington, D.C. to the George Washington Freemason Hall, and they put you in a room. And in that room, they place a cross. And then you have something that you must do. If you spit upon that cross, then you can cross over and become a Shriner, because now they know that you have learned the edicts and the actual tenets and doctrines of Freemasonry, which is they hate you. You know what I'm saying? This is not something that many people know. I learned this because somehow, somewhere, we got our hands on actual Freemason lessons and things of that nature when I was incarcerated, and all that was laid out. You know what I'm saying? Then you become a Shriner. You cross over to the east. If you pay attention to anything that Shriners have, everything with Shriners is of Arabic nature. Are y'all familiar with the Cecil Powell building downtown with the two Sphinx in front of it? That is where the Shriner Hall used to be before they moved over here to St. John's Bluff. They said they moved from downtown because they were getting robbed too much. True story. And then they moved out there to say, I don't even think the St. John Bluff or Uncle Temple's even there no more. I think they're going to tear it down. And they're going to build something else. I don't recall where they're going to move. I did read where they were going to move, but they're going to move. That's why when you see Shriners, they're usually very advanced in age. You don't see very many young men who are Shriners. They wear that fez. That fez should be same thing that you notice that the Nation of Islam wore. You should also realize that that fez got that tassel on the top, which takes back to what I told you about when you wear that graduation cap. You know what I'm saying? See, that graduation cap, I told you, that's that Q. And that Q is for, for Saturn, which is Allah, which is Bacchus, which is nasty stuff that you don't want to think about. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless. And then that video you was looking at, that reminded me, the information in there what he was dealing with, that was in the book that I read about 15 years ago, David Icke, Secret of All Ages. I have forgot all about that. About the fact that the whole layout of course, y'all know who Columbia is, correct? Indeed, but I'm talking about, but it's also Diana, who you read about in the text when they was like the great goddess of Diana. Columbia is who the Statue of Liberty is. And that's why they named it the District of Columbia, because it's a place for the veneration of the Mother Goddess. But certain areas in DC, though, it forms a pentagram and all this other type of stuff that they got going on. Because what I was telling Brandon, we called me earlier, what you must understand is that they worship everything according to numbers. They worship everything according to lines. See, I had told him something the other day. I had a book that I read was up the road. It was called, I think, Before Us or something of that nature, that showed that cultures of antiquity had a much more advanced technology, and people want to give them credit. You know what I'm saying? Like they had electricity, they had working plumbing. There was a piece of aeronautic, something that they had that these people have not figured out to this day. They still don't know how they built Stonehenge. They still don't know how they built the pyramids. And the fact that the pyramids are lined up along constellation lines, the same as Stonehenge. You know what I'm saying? So they don't want to see people want to ascribe it to demons, but people are just very intelligent. There's nothing new under the sun. They just want you to believe, even though that majority of those people were people of color and they were desperately wicked, that these people were not intelligent and that they were more primitive and we're more advanced, when really they're just holding the secrets that all these people held and possessed. And then they laugh at you because you don't know. But that Royal Order of Jesters, like their logos like purple and gold. Y'all know who team is purple and gold. None of that stuff was by happenstance and things of that nature. And why purple and gold is a thing, like I told you before, what's one of the colors that's on that whore? She's wearing purple. Why do they laugh at you? Because they laugh at Yahuwah. Let me show you why they laugh at Yahuwah before we proceed. Psalms 14. Shalom, sister. Shalom. Psalms 14. 14:1. Oh, word? Oh, Brother Sharon said he lived not too far from Stonehenge. You know what I'm saying? They don't even, most people, they say they don't even know what Stonehenge is for. But clearly they, they did some ungodly things. But yeah, once you become a Shriner, then they begin to worship Allah. So basically, when you're dealing with Freemasonry, you're dealing with Pan. When you switch over to the Shriners, you start dealing with the Mother Goddess. That's what they begin to show you. And then you learn by the time you hit 33rd degree Freemasonry that they worship Isis and Horus and Osiris anyway. You know what I'm saying? I forget which degree it is, but I think I mentioned it that y'all the other day. Like, their God name is Jah Bel Om. So anytime you see them Buddhist people sitting around talking about Om, they were communicating to a deity. Y'all already know who Baal is, and then they had the audacity to throw Yahuwah's name in the mix of that and try to mix them all together. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning all of this is because of the transgressing of judgment. Because again, this is what the beast is going to do. He's going to try to take everything and make it a goulash and mix it together and say that it's all the same thing that was talking about him. Just like we were talking about the other day with Kwasi Kota. It doesn't matter what ancient culture you go to, they all have the same story. You know what I'm saying? Why are there pyramids in ancient Mexico? People ask. Why is there pyramids in South America? Because they all worship the same deity. Because y'all already know that. If you are aware, pyramids were not cemeteries. They were places for rituals. They were the original Mason halls, if you will. That's what they went in there and did. They went in there and they performed their esoteric and occult rituals and their sex magic and came from up out of there. Also, it also symbolized certain stuff that they would do is that you would be buried a man and come out of God, which is why they disrespect the Lord's resurrection. But nevertheless, Psalms 14:1. The fool said in his heart, there is no Elohim. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that do good. Yahuwah looked down from heaven upon the sons of men to see if there are any that did and understand and seek Elohim. They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy. There is none that do good, no, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat up bread and call not upon Yahuwah. There were they in great fear, for Elohim is in the generation of the righteous. You have shamed the counsel of the poor because Yahuwah is his refuge. Now notice that what it says, that they shame the counsel of the poor and that they eat up the people like bread because they do not have the knowledge of Elohim and they don't call upon Yahuwah. Now, let's return back to Revelation 13 for that particular point that we're trying to get to, because this will give us a chance to go ahead and knock Ezekiel 39 out the box. Do y'all recall what occurs in Ezekiel 39? We referenced it briefly, but I wonder who recalls what's in Ezekiel 30. Matter of fact, let me rephrase that. Who recalls what's in Ezekiel 38? Gog and Magog is in Ezekiel 38. What occurred in Ezekiel 38? We're going to look at in Ezekiel 39 is the aftermath and the divine sentence that came from the king's lips because of the transgressing of judgment of a man who claimed that he was the king. But we need to look at these things about this man who claimed he was the king. So Revelation 13 and 11, we already read verses 5 and 6. We know that he blasphemes against the tabernacle of heaven, against Elohim, and everyone who dwells in heaven. This is verse 11 of Revelation 13. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a serpent. Now y'all know what that is. Now let me ask you this question, and it's going to be a different answer than what you may think that I'm looking for, because I know we've asked that many times. If you speak like a serpent, but you appear like a lamb, what are you? Not only that, if you're correct, you're a deceiver. But there's a word whose actual definition means deceiver. It ain't life. But that's also the actual definition of this word as well. There's a word whose actual definition, English word, that is used quite regularly, that means deceiver and liar. So Jacob means supplanter. There's an English word that would be apropos one who appears to be righteous, but is really evil. That means liar, deceiver, huh? A hypocrite. So now I want you to come over here to Luke chapter 12, if you will, before we get Ezekiel 35. Yeah, the actual definition of hypocrite is, and what does his law say? It says, law say that no liar will dwell in his house. You know what I'm saying? That's why he has such a problem with hypocrites, because in his eyes, you are a liar. That takes us back to Psalms 50 when he said, who are you to take my covenant in your mouth and then you cast my words behind your back? So what you see here in Matthew 23, that you telling me to do one thing, but you doing another. Only difference is he ain't sitting in Moses' seat. Twelve and 1, the book of Luke. Reason why I mention that, because what did he say he would come with? Now, first thing first, in Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 6, right? What are some of the things that child that will be born? What are some of the adjectives that were used to describe him? Wonderful Counselor. What is another? Huh? It said a Prince of something though. Prince of Peace, and that's what I was looking for. So what does it say the beast will come and deceive with? And he will do flatteries with peace to have a mouth to transgress. So when he's coming to peace, we didn't talk about this before, so I'm just trying to use it to bring it back to you. Remember, he's coming like the Lamb. Because remember, what were they looking for the Lamb of God to do? The people who had no knowledge. No, they weren't looking for this. They were looking for war. They weren't looking for a lamb. They were looking for David. You know what I'm saying? And understandably so, because that's where their understanding of scripture was at that time. You always have to remember that those people during the time of when the Lord started preaching had no understanding of what he was coming to do. You know what I'm saying? Now, he was preaching it to them and they seen them first. They knew the anointed one was to come. They knew this. They knew that their sins had to be reconciled. They knew this. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't know, boom, boom, boom. That's why they were looking at him like, man, my nigga, what's happening? Like, you a son of David, man. Why you ain't up no fire? Yeah, the reason being, you know what they weren't looking for? They weren't looking for him to suffer. They were not looking for him to suffer. They were not looking for him to be made weak so that he could be made strong. The same thing you see today and hear niggas say today. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not looking for that. Because they think that their strength has to come from an exertion of force. That's not what you still got to suffer with. That's why many brothers are going to perish. And I ain't talking about perish because they fall. They're going to perish because they don't have the proper faith and they're going to die, wake up, and then they're going to die again. You know what I'm saying? Because they weren't willing to get that esteem to suffer for his name. They didn't deem it worthy to suffer on his behalf, the way that he deemed it worthy to suffer to fulfill his Father's will. They're going to look at you and say, oh, you a coward, you this. You waiting for somebody to crack the sky. You waiting for this, you waiting for that. They have no hope or expectation from their God. So in all intents and purposes, they all was in Psalms 14, because you are a fool, because you said there is no God, because you don't believe the testimony of the Son, which he left. Therefore, you have called him a liar and said that he is a hypocrite. So therefore, you have to be a fool. Story around that. You know what I'm saying? See, you can't have it either or. It's black and white. If you believe what he promised, then you would be willing to die because you know that there would be hope in your death. You don't believe his promise, then you are not going to be willing to die. And that don't even have to necessarily be with giving up your mortal life. You will not be willing to submit yourself and mortify your members to yield to his perfect will because you feel like your will is better and greater, which in turn would make you a fool on the sons of men to see if any even seek and understand what his will is. Even though we got it all mixed up, you think it's about your will and working his will into what you want to do. And that's a fast track to say that you are a fool and you don't know God and you are a work of iniquity and you will eat up his people like bread and you will shame the counsel of the humble and the afflicted. That's what that means when they say poor there. You're going to shame their counsel. You're going to reject their counsel. You're going to reject their word because you are a fool, because you don't believe in Elohim and you will perish. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. It doesn't matter. If anybody, like I've seen a brother say, why we can't unite? Well, what does the word say about uniting? Do y'all know what the word say about united? Not that you can't unite, but if you're united, something has to be on one accord all the way across the board. Or how can two walk together except they be agreed? I got something for you. Hold on. Because I can't, ain't nothing wrong with that either. Let me read this Luke 12 and 1 and we swing around here too. He said, in the meantime, when they were gathered together, innumerable multitudes of people, insomuch that they trode one upon another, he began to say unto his disciples, first of all, beware you of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. For nothing is covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Now, why did I read that? Indeed, he did not come to bring peace. But why did I read that? I read that for one reason. We came towards the end of our closing yesterday. We read how he said that don't marvel that Satan come transform himself into an angel of light, and his servants will transform themselves into ministers of righteousness. Why did I mention that? Because there will be many false prophets, and there will be many men who will be speaking on the behalf of the beast, who will pretend that they walk righteously, but inwardly they are full of hypocrisy and dead men's bones and all manner of uncleanliness, using their mouth to transgress judgment, which they will use their mouth to influence you to transgress judgment. Back to what we read a couple days ago in Jeremiah 23, when you will cause my people to forget my name for Paul. See, he will cause you to forget his name for Pan, because we just gonna call him who he is until he reveals himself. He's Pan, he's Cernunnos, he's whatever he called in Egypt, either Baphomet, whatever you want to call him, the horn god, the androgynous deity, the homosexual god of the whole wide world, better known as Osiris or Asar. You understand? That's who they worship. That's who they venerate. And they will use men to deceive you into believing that Yahuwah is not Elohim. And they will do that by hypocrisy, because they will come as if they walk in the kadoshness of the living Elohim, but in actuality, they walk in the deceits and lust of their own heart, and they speak a word of deceit out of their own heart, of which Yahuwah has not given them. And many will be deceived by them. Now, y'all been warned, and you could be stupid if you want, because the same token what Brother Shawan put up here, y'all already know. Yahushua told you, don't think that I came to bring peace but a sword. He came to separate. But he just didn't come to separate people for the sake of separating people. He came to separate the Kadash from the unkadash, or the set apart from the unset apart, the righteous from the wicked, the believing from the unbelieving. That's who he came to separate. You know what I'm saying? And see, that's what most brews don't want to deal with. That's who if you're wicked, he came to sever you from those who are not, because there needs a difference between the two. You know what I'm saying? I need to be able to tell the difference. That's why he say, now you know the sons of Elohim, and now you know the sons of the devil. There's a difference. What is the difference? Sons of the devil sin. Sons of Elohim don't sin, because they're born of Elohim. The word is in them. They can't sin, because once that word is in you, it will not depart out of you. See, the having the word in you is just not listening. It's just not reading. It's you laid it up in your heart. Y'all know what it is to lay stuff up in your heart. Some of y'all still remember songs from when you were in the 6th grade. Some of you still remember things your parents taught you when you were 7, 8, 9 years old, and you still do them to this day. So that's all it is. You lay the man word up in your heart, you will do it. And if you do it, then guess what you won't do? You won't transgress it. And if you've done that, that means you've been born of Elohim, because you purged out the old leaven and made yourself a new lump, and now you're a new creature. So therefore, how could someone deceive you? It would be impossible. You know what I'm saying? The only people who can be deceived are the people who don't believe the word of Yahuwah. You don't believe the word of Yahuwah, you will be deceived. Unfortunately, someone in this room will be deceived. You know what I'm saying? That's just the matter. That's just the laws of averages. If he say 1/3 gonna get through the fire, so that means 2 out of 3 people gonna get deceived in this room. You know what I'm saying? That's just the bottom line. It is what it is. God forbid you be in that 2/3. Prayerfully, you could be in a part of one. Only one. Does anyone know which one it is? What that's one. It was Philadelphia. I was the only one. He had nothing bad to say about nobody in the synagogue of Philadelphia. He said all of them were silent. So it is possible. I just want to let that be known so y'all can know that. It is possible. You know what I'm saying? Because there were 7. Now look at that there. 7 synagogues, 1 out of 7. That's 14%. You know what I'm saying? That's about 14%. Matter of fact, that's not even 14%. 2 out of 7 is 14%. So that's really about 12%. 12%. You know what I'm saying? Now, how many people were in those congregations? I do not know. Doesn't really matter. But the point of the matter is yes, you do have an example of an assembly of people where nobody was silent, where Yahushua had nothing to rebuke them for. You know what I'm saying? And that's rare. You know why it's rare? Because human beings are just prone to folly. But come over here to 1 Corinthians chapter. Then what I mean by the unity that and this is from Paul, so I'm in the right place. I think I might be in the wrong place. I am not. I am not. 1 Corinthians chapter 1. I pick you up at verse 4. You could grab on here. I did pick it up at verse 1. I run it on down. Then we'll read Ezekiel 35 and get into what we got to get in and slide out what we need to slide out. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 1, Paul, called to be an apostle of Yahushua HaMashiach through the will of Elohim, and so things our brother, unto the house of Elohim, which is at Corinth. Listen what it said. To them that are sanctified, and Mashiach Yahushua called to be saints. If you're sanctified in Yahushua, how would you be sanctified? I need to know. And this come out the Lord's mouth. He says, sanctify them by that truth. Your word is true. He said, and I sanctified myself by the truth, that they might sanctify themselves by the truth. So if they sanctify themselves by the truth, what were they sanctified by? Recall what we read in Daniel. He said the truth was cast down to the ground. They denied. But they sanctified by their faith. See, that's what sanctifies you. That's what sets you apart. Let's continue. With all that in every place upon the name Yahushua HaMashiach our Lord, both theirs and ours. Grace be unto you and shalom from Elohim our Abba. See, this is the stuff that cut into the foolery that people be looking for. Because you think this man is your personal wish granter. When he said that he would hope you would be enriched by the utterance, the words that come out of your mouth, and the knowledge of the Son of God. He said, I think, verse 6, even as the testimony of a Mashiach was confirmed in you, so that you come behind and no gift, waiting for the coming of our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, who also shall confirm you unto the end, that you may be blameless in the day of our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach. Let's look at this Greek word for confirm. Ain't that something? Say a little girl got shot in the head. No, this was over there all done. Was having a shootout. Yeah, that was a while ago. Oh, that was a car crash. Yeah, I seen that something. They ran smack into it. Yeah, I seen them out there. I had to turn around. Now, this is the Greek word for confirm. It is be both. It is make firm, to establish or confirm or to make sure. So what Hebrew word would be the equivalent for something that establishes or confirms or makes sure? It's about 2 or 3 words that Hebrew words that you can use to be the equivalent for that. Words. Something that establishes or confirms. Amuna, Amah, and Amah. And what are those 3 words? Those are words of faith. So when you're looking at what the confirmation, your confirmation is through your faith. And if you have the confirmation of faith that you be blameless to the end, then you would be sealed with the Ruach. That's why he says that right here, that you may be blameless. That's the only way that you can be confirmed. Because then he can confirm that you belong. I'm sure you might. You understand? He said, he that sanctifies and he that sanctify all at once, for which cause he's not ashamed. See, there's a difference. See, I'm putting it this way, and a term that we see. See, Yahushua ain't gonna be like none of these square niggas be on Maury talking about that ain't my baby. You know what I'm saying? See, he don't see the same way you go get a DNA test to know that's your child. Well, he look for that Ruach HaKodesh. That's how he know that's his. See, if you ain't got that, then you somebody else's child. You're not none of mine. Because see, my children had that mark. They had that mark of Elohim in their forehead. They had that mark of Elohim in their heart. I know who's mine and who ain't. That's different. See, if you don't have a ruach, then he just consequently knows that your father is the devil because the lust of your father, that's what you've been doing. Because remember, with all those plagues, what did he say? Who not to touch? Those who got that mark. Not his people. He said those who got that mark. He said don't touch them. He said you torment the whole earth except those that got that mark. He said don't touch them. You leave them alone. Same thing he did in Ezekiel. He said get that sword. He said kill young, kill old, kill male, kill female, kill little children and all. But anybody who got that mark, don't fool with them. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, in the book of Ezekiel, when you're looking at that, he said man who got that mark. So in that reality, you correct. There's another man as well. Because everybody in Noah's house got spared, did they? But there was another man whose whole house was spared because he was righteous from the wrath of Yahuwah. That man is Lot. We just talked about Lot. Didn't he say to Lot, you, your wife, your daughters, and their husbands get saved? But what happened though? The sons didn't believe, and neither did his wife. But the righteousness of Lot, because he was sealed, that sealed the whole house. But that is an example of just because the man is righteous and the house is protected, don't mean because you in that household, you saved too. That just means that you're protected. See, that take you back to what's in Ezekiel chapter 15. He say, well, if I send forth the sword or the famine, whether Noah, Daniel, or Job were in it, they only deliver themselves for their own righteousness. They ain't going to deliver their wives. They're not going to deliver their sons. All that means if it's a righteous man at the head of that household, that plague will skip over that household because he in it. But you see what happened though. Lot's sons ain't believe, so they mocked, they scorned the counsel of Elohim and died. Because Lot's wife wanted to look back because she wasn't fit to work the kingdom of Elohim. She died with the dead because she should have let the dead bury the dead. See, the whole word type, I'm talking about as a vice grip. How you sitting there looking like, oh no, oh yes, oh yes. Is that serious? Is that serious? That man ain't playing no games. I've been telling y'all this for years. He said, I sanctified you from other people that you could be mine. But you know what you want to do? You Lot's wife. I want to go back over here. And he said, that's fine. I'll turn you to a pillar of salt. Did not Yahushua warn you about that in Luke chapter 19? About remember Lot's wife? Well, keep looking back if you want to. Keep looking back if you want to. What's back then? What did he tell your forefathers when they came up out of Egypt? Leave that stuff on the other side of the flood. Don't bring that over here. That's what you did before you knew any better. You know better now, but you still want to go over there for. Oh, I know why. Because you hate me. Should have stayed. Could have been better for you. Should have stayed. Stop calling on me. Because they were calling on them because they were getting broke down and oppressed, right? Come get me. See, that's just like a woman who get beat on. He beating on me. Now she go to the Hubbard house. Now she get to the Hubbard house, and now she want to go back to that nigga. So guess what you would say? I hope he kill you. Because that's what he said in Isaiah chapter 30, did he not? He said, you trust in the shadow of Egypt. You trust in their chariots. He said, don't go back that way. He said, if you go back that way, I'm going to let him kill you. It sounds harsh, but it's what it is, though. Ain't that what it say? That's what it say. That's right. She ain't want to let go of the world. That's what happened. When you don't want to let go of the world, and you know what that means? And I mentioned it the other day. What does that mean if you don't want to let go of the world? What are the three things that you're not trying to relinquish? What are the three things that you're not trying to relinquish? Huh? Pride of life is one of them. What's the other two? Lust of the eyes, and what's the other one? And the lust of the flesh. That ain't what you're trying to let go. You won't release your pride. You won't release the desires that your flesh desires, and you won't release the things that your eyes are desiring that you see. It ain't no different with a little kid. Little kid can see some vegetables on there. He don't want them. He see that brownie, now he desire it. Now his desire is say, I'm going to go up there and grab that brownie. My mama told me don't touch the brownies because I got to eat this stuff over here first. But that's my desire, so I'm going to go grab that brownie. Then we slapped upside the back of the head. He want to cry because he's not understanding. Why did I get in trouble? Because you didn't listen. Because you let the lust of your eyes get you in trouble. Because if you wouldn't have seen that brownie, then you wouldn't have desired that brownie. And that's why he tell you to fix your eyes up in heaven, where Mashiach sit at the right hand of Elohim, and let your affections be there. Let your eyes be in heaven. You won't have to be worrying about desiring nothing on earth. You won't get yourself in trouble. Because you won't be spending time looking at stuff you ain't got no business looking at. But nevertheless, verse 9. Elohim is faithful, by whom you called unto the fellowship of his son, Yahushua HaMashiach our Lord. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, that you all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you, and that you be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. See, this is what brothers neglect when they talk about they want to be unified. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have the same mind or the same judgment in the determination of what's right and what's wrong. See, that's the thing. See, people think it's a difference of doctrine. It ain't about no doctrine. Because I don't care if a dude believes he should wear fringes. That's not going to stop me from kicking it with it. But if he believed that he could do things that I could see in this text are wrong, or we have a problem, I can't be joined to that. I can't be joined to that. And you can take it how you want. Somebody be like, oh, you can get divorced and remarry. I don't believe that. We don't share the same judgment. We don't share the same judgment. So I can't be in a car with you on that. We do not share the same judgment, sir. Period. And that's not a light matter. You know what I'm saying? Because that man said if you do that, you commit adultery. He calls the person who did it to commit adultery. You tell a nigga they straight. So I'm looking at it. That's life and death, son. You know what I'm saying? That's life and death. That's not a difference in doctrine. That's life and death. There's one thing you talking about. Oh, you say Yahuwah. I say Yahweh. I'm not present. I say Jesus. I'm not. There's a problem there because that's incorrect judgment. So therefore, I can't be joined to you. And it doesn't mean a cavalcade of other things, of which I don't care to discuss at this time because it'll get us off the beat. Ezekiel 35. $35. 35 and 10. Ezekiel 35 and 10. Yeah, that TV got an influence around, but I'll be honest with you. The TV don't influence people as much as it does, but it don't influence people as much as we give it credit for. People are influenced by the things that they desire based off really the things that they see other people doing and the things that they see other people have more than probably television. The television, I don't think, holds the same level of influence that it held 20, 30, 40 years ago because people don't watch television anymore. People consume their entertainment in a different fashion. You know what I'm saying? There was a time period that, on set days a week, certain sitcoms came on, certain shows came on, and you had to be home at that particular time to watch that. And if you weren't there, then you couldn't see that repeat again until the summertime or spring break or whatever the case. They weren't filming new episodes. Now that's no longer the case. These people upload television series at their leisure. You know what I'm saying? Upload entire seasons of them at their leisure. You know what I'm saying? You can watch it at your leisure. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't hold the same sway of what they're influenced by. You know what I'm saying? I think the music industry still has an influence. What's that, bro? I think the music industry still has influence over people, but not at the same token. I think the lust of the eyes is more promoted and influenced by people through the advent of social media in this particular generation and dispensation of time. You know what I'm saying? It just shifted a tad. TV still holds influence, and the music industry still holds influence. But the influence, because what do they call niggas? Content creators and social media influence. So that's why I see where the influence has shifted and where the lust of the eyes of the people go at. You know what I'm saying? Because now people seek to create images of themselves on the internet and try to recreate. I mean, look at the stuff where If there wasn't no internet, nobody be walking around talking about relationship goals or body goals or things of that nature. That's contrived. That was probably created in somebody's basement of a whole bunch of people who a means to be able to manipulate the people to push them in whatever direction that they want them to push them in. Because nobody ever sits and asks themselves these phrases and these hashtags and these lingos as quickly as they come and distort your mind as quickly as they depart. And it seems that there's a new one to take its place readily. And if you think somebody's sitting in their house in some random city, some random dude who just made that up, you fooling yourself. Because everything happens for a reason. And stuff is pretty. I forget the name of the institute. But I told you about that movie. What's that movie called? What it is, man, with the girl band, man. Yeah, the Pussycat Dolls. In that film, they show you how they do that. They show you that the Pussycat Dolls image, the music, and all of that was not created by those women, but by people in suits in an underground area that they come up and say, they're going to say this slang. They're going to wear these clothes. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. This stuff is created. Niggas don't really, do people create stuff in the street and is it organic? Yes, it is. There are some things that are organic. But really a lot of stuff was created by people who you wouldn't even think had that level of cool, if you would. And they came up with that and they gave that to somebody and told them, get out there and do this. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to look at how fast things go. Especially when you're dealing with social media, stuff can't last for. See, at one time they called them fads. You know what I'm saying? So now the fads are different, but it's still the same level of people influence. Just a different way to do the same thing. That's where your discernment got to come in at. You have to realize when you're getting played. You know what I'm saying? Because you're getting played. Dudes be thinking they come up with their own style and you ain't sat back and noticed everybody look the same. Everybody got the same haircut. Everybody with the same clothes. Everybody talk the same slang. There was a time where I knew slang was regional. You know what I'm saying? You use certain words based off where you were from. You know what I'm saying? There was certain because unless you knew somebody who was from that city or you listened to somebody who was from that city's music. You know what I'm saying? Like you can say in the 90s, you can be a nigga from New York City and have absolutely no idea what this nigga is talking about. Now them niggas don't even have their own slang anymore. You know what I'm saying? They don't even have their own slang anymore except for a few key words. You could meet somebody from LA and they had their own slang. You ain't know what they were talking about. A nigga from New Orleans had his own slang. Even people from Jacksonville had their own slang. Now there is no own slang. Everybody talks the same. Nobody's ever thought to themselves, why everybody got the same slang? Why everybody got the same haircut? Why everybody wear the same clothes? Why everybody got the same shoes? Somebody is influencing you to do that. You know what I'm saying? You put it this way, right? And I know there's other factors. Ask yourself, why are people so intent on wearing Michael Jordan shoes who never saw him play? They have no linkage to this man whatsoever. They never saw him play. I saw the man play, and I didn't care to wear shoes like that. I can see somebody from my generation who will wear them and still want to wear them. This man retired basically, and you know what I'm saying? Because you got players who playing now who can't get nobody to buy their shoes like that. You got dudes who 20 years old from my own with nothing but Jordans. Probably couldn't pick Michael Jordan out of a criminal lineup. But nevertheless, Ezekiel 35 and 11. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahuwah Elohim, I will do even according to your anger and according to your envy, which you have used out of the hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged you. And you shall know that I am Yahuwah, and that I have heard all your blasphemies which you have spoken against the mountains of Yasharal, saying they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. Thus with your mouth you have boasted against me and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard this. Now we just read about the beast blaspheming and multiplying the words against Yahuwah. And not only to blaspheme against Yahuwah, that means you lying on the man, you speaking against the man, you disrespecting the man. Now I want you to swing back to Ezekiel 38. I might have to go here to Revelation 20. My mind tells me I need to check Revelation 20. I do. Revelation 20 first. And then we'll just swing straight to Ezekiel 39. Revelation 20 and 7. I only mention all that stuff because that's why you got to have the judgment of Elohim and not to be no fool. You know what I'm saying? See, you know, a lot of people who won't have a problem serving Yahuwah is people who have always had no desire to fit in. See, because human nature, you want to fit in because you want to be accepted. That's why it'd be so hard for a lot of people to walk away from a lot of things when dealing with the word as far as family, friends, and the world is concerned, because nobody wants to be shunned. You still want people to accept you. You want people to like you. That is just natural human nature. There are a few people on the earth that don't care if they're liked and don't care if they fit in. Of course, you live in a society, as far as America is concerned, which really pushes you to have a desire to fit in because of the maliciousness and hatefulness of many people. Like I've been telling you for years, niggas tell the kids to stop bullying when grown people bully. Don't nobody want to tell nobody that the bullying don't stop. The bullying continues until you're about 50. You know what I'm saying? Because you get on a job, niggas bullying. You know what I'm saying? There's be 30-year-old people doing the same stuff that they were doing when you was 14, 15 years old. Revelation 20 and 7. Number whom is the sand of the sea. And they went up the breadth of the earth and encompassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city. And fire came down from Elohim out of Shamahim and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Now remember, the beast and the false prophet were thrown into the lake of fire and brimstone alive. Remember what the word tells you in Daniel chapter 8, that he shall be broken by the prince of princes without hand. Remember what the apostle Paul told you, that he shall slay the wicked with the breath of his mouth, the same thing that the prophet Isaiah told you in the 11th chapter. So the point of the matter is Satan is still going. Remember, Isaiah 24 tell you this, Satan gets sealed up and he's going out to deceive, to transgress in judgment. And this is where the divine sentence of the king shall come down one last time. His mouth will not transgress with the execution of that judgment. And let's take a look at it. Ezekiel 39. Long chapter, so I want you to bear with me. We will try to read all of it before we leave out of here this evening. That will conclude us. And the next time we go back to the book of Ezekiel, if Yahuwah permit, we will be in the 41st chapter. Oh, little baby. They woke you out of your slumber. Ezekiel 39. Batman. See, there's an example, and it's not to pick it just like this here. Like, y'all know who Batman is? I told y'all who Batman is. Y'all know who Batman is, right? Who is Batman? Did you know that, or did somebody tell you? So that tells me somebody told you. Yes, he's representative of Horus. Representative of Horus. And Joker is also the representative of Horus as well. That's what we were talking about with that film, like with that step. And then go tell him what Gotham mean again, Glover, because I know you found that humorous. Gotham. City of the Goat. City of the Goat. Of the Goat. It's an old English word, and it means city of the goat. That's why they chose New York for that. New York is the city of the goat. I told you there's strategic cities all across the world that when it comes down to occult practices are very, very, like you think they just put the United Nations in New York City for no reason. There's a reason why they put it there. You know what I'm saying? The United States has many, many cities in it, and the only city that the only two cities that they ever want to talk about is New York and Los Angeles. And look what Los Angeles means. The city of angels. Well, what angels are they talking about? Because you say city of angels, you would have to say city of spirits. And a city of spirits, what kind of spirits? Yeah, that's where they got it from. Because he said there's a city named Gotham near him in Nottingham. Because that's where the word comes from. Call it Gotham City, city of the goat. And then look at everything that's in New York City, and you can see why that would be the city of the goat. You know, you live there, you know. You didn't visit it, you know. You were born there, you left there, you know. No, I say shoot, Johnny. Been there. When the last time you went up there, Johnny? Oh, you might have called that wrong when you was up there, huh? Around there messing with the goat. Oh, so you really rode the goat. He happy to say he went. So you happy to say you seen him from? Hey, man. I don't feel no way about him because I don't know him personally. But I know a whole nigga when I see one. Basketball skills notwithstanding. See, one thing about you can't have respect. Well, I love the way that nigga ball. That nigga's still a buster. You know how many whole niggas I knew would get one? Oh, that's Las Vegas. That's Las Vegas. That is called Sin City. Quite obviously, that Las Vegas would be called Sin City because you can commit any manner of sin there that you desire. You know what I'm saying? You like gamble. You like to get high? Get high. Want a trick? There's some prostitutes right outside your hotel. And guess what niggas be ready to do? I want to go to Las Vegas. For what? If you're righteous, what is there for you to do? I bet you was doing the thing. So allegedly, you might have been on some cocaine. You was on some cocaine. That's how you got on that zip line, on that cocaine. I forgot you went around there. You was in that gambling hall. What? Talking about you were playing bingo. Yeah, you say you walked through. You stopped and played the slot machine. Monte say, "Boy, this checking account getting low. What you out there doing?" You know, hit that slot machine. You say, "I gotta hit these 777s." You let the slot machine call you. You look like a nigga sit at the slot machine all day. I'm gonna hit my number. No, but I mean, for the most part, people who go there, they going to sin. They going to sin. It ain't much clean fun. I had a lot of clean fun. No, I'm talking about in comparison. It's not much clean fun out there. Not to say that it's not, because that's lucrative. It's not a lot of clean fun, especially in comparison to the debauchery. What you say, Justin? Huh? But they do got Bible study. I know a brother got a ministry out there. Fillmore. Brother Fillmore. Taught of Yah. He got a ministry out there. Good solid dude, too. Jessica said, you know what the saying says. What happens in Vegas, stay in Vegas. You know what that means. You've been home. Oh, we know you're going to tell him what happened. You tell him when you went to the bathroom, when you took the bathroom. But your friends was out there home. No, it wasn't. What they was out there doing? The same things I was doing. Till you went to sleep? In the room, going to bed. Till you went to sleep? Mm-hmm. You in there sleeping good, slobbing on the pillow. They say put the whole outfit on in 5, 4. Next thing you know, you like this here. Y'all look like y'all tired. Y'all slept all right. It was a rough one. I was tossing and turning. That's what I'm telling you. You went and got in the bed. They went out to go meet Fred. That's what they did. It was nigga. It's like this here. She's approved. Well, she one of them good people. We gotta go out here and have some fun. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have some fun. That's what people be on. She ain't no fun, girl. I already told you, we ain't big on. We know. See, we done told y'all this before. Them move on. See, y'all tell us, "Oh, we going on a girl trip." We know what that means. Unmoderated fun. Y'all go out there and do all manner of sexual activity. Don't tell nobody. Oh, we know. Y'all can shake y'all head. Y'all act like y'all friends ain't hoes. Y'all don't be wanting to admit y'all got friends that's hoes. If they've been with more than one man in their life, they're a whore. Oh yeah, but we know men ain't gonna, you know, it's easy. It's a lot of work for a nigga to get some butt. All a woman got to do is say, you got to say, baby, you want something to sit? Y'all go out the door half naked. Might as well don't have no clothes on. And you can be like, you want to go back to my room? That's all y'all got to do. Y'all ain't got to put no effort in. You want to go, because y'all already know it ain't too many dudes that gonna be like, you know what? I don't want none. And if he told you he didn't want none, your feelings would be crushed. You know what I'm talking about? You mean to tell me you don't want to have sex with me? No, I don't. I don't know you, you random woman, because y'all know that nigga gonna jump right on it. We know. So y'all want us to believe y'all having good, wholesome fun. We do not believe you. Wowzers. We know. I ain't saying that some of y'all don't, but we know what talking about. Come on, man. They made a movie about it and they showed us what y'all be doing. Okay, them niggas was around there getting drunk. They ain't sleep with nobody. Them hoes went on a trip. I don't know nothing about all that. Yeah, them niggas was intoxicated. Y'all niggas be sober. Y'all be sober. Y'all, like I said, on the prowl. We already know that. Y'all go out the door half naked. What you going out the door half naked for? What's the purpose of that? It's hot. I know something hot. You know something hot. Hot and ready, Little Caesar. Shoot, a lot of these hoes don't need nothing but a chicken box and a bun. Ezekiel 39. That's a sad world we living in. I might crack joke about it, but I'm getting dead serious though at the same time though. That joint's sad. You know what I'm saying? That joint's sad. Because like I say now, we ain't no fools. We know full well why women going out the door half naked. You want some attention. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have the dudes who you'll take their non-sexual attention, who you're not going to entertain, but you hoping somebody you find attractive will give you the sexual attention you desire. In a lot of instances, if you can go lay with this man and don't nobody know it, you're going to go do it. And a lot of women do it every day. You know what I'm talking about? And come at us on some more, I got degrees and I got this job. You still a hoe. You know what I'm saying? And you want me to put that to the side that you're a whore because you have a level of success in corporate America and feel, oh, you intimidated by my success. No, I just don't like semen receptacles. So I'll pack. You know what I'm saying? Because they tell little boys that these women can't do this and they women don't do that. And then they end up simping for women who are really not worth their time. Who have devalued themselves by devaluing their body. And being all seriousness, because I told y'all this before, ain't no man in the history of mankind, except unless with the exception of him, want his woman out the door half naked. Women go out the door half naked because women want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no man be like, yeah, baby, go out there and show your booty and your titties. I don't mind other men looking at you. Going out there with a sheer outfit on so they can see your underclothes. I like men looking at you. Y'all don't know men if you think men want his woman to go out the door like that. No man want no dude sitting around oogling and lusting after his woman. If it was up to men, what damn piece of your body be showing? You know what I'm saying? Period, point blank. Not nan tap, nowhere. Anyway, there wasn't nobody. You can have the curves of a lifetime with nobody know it. Because if he had his choice. And that can only be done if you dwell in a righteous household. But in this world, women have a choice and women choose to dress half naked. Ezekiel 39:1. Therefore, you son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, behold, I'm against you, O Gog, chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. I will turn you back and leave but the sixth part of you, and will cause you to come up from the north parts, and will bring you upon the mountains of Yasharal. So notice that he said he's going to take a sixth of Gog and Magog and bring them back. I will smite your bow out of your left hand, and what you read in Revelation 20. I will give you unto ravenous birds, of every sword, and to the beasts of the field to be devoured. You shall fall upon the open field, for I, Yahuwah, have spoken, saith Yahuwah Elohim. For I have spoken, saith Yahuwah Elohim. I will send fire on Magog, and among them that dwell carelessly in the isle, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. So now he's saying he's dropping this on the Gentiles. Remember, Ezekiel 38 already told you that he was sending fire out of heaven. Revelation 20 tells you this as well. Remember, this is after the Lord come back. This is not before. Gog and Magog is judged after, and this is the divine sentence of Yahuwah. Why is Yahuwah judging Gog and Magog? Pause. Let me show you. Revelation 11. Wowzers. 11 and 15. And also what I mentioned goes back to what we were talking about. We talked about previously in Leviticus where it tell you to not prostitute your daughter or profane your daughter. Make her common. Make her defiled. You don't send your daughter out there to transgress by prostituting her, by allowing her to do what she wants to do. Man ain't supposed to do that. She's supposed to be moderated and regulated, and you pass her off to her husband, and he continues that pathway. You can't allow a woman to have free reign to do what she want to do. She will destroy herself and the society that she dwells in, because men will destroy themselves in seeking to chase after her because she can do what she wants, because he's inclined to chase after her because of the lust of his eyes. Because what does Proverbs chapter 6 tell you? To not lust after a woman because of her beauty. To not do it. Because when you desire a woman for her beauty, you lose your common sense. Because now you're thinking emotionally, and when you're thinking emotionally, you're going to make a bad decision, and in that bad decision, you will compromise standards and values, and therefore destroy a whole nation of people. Notice that he didn't say not to prostitute your sons, because the sons are not going to be an issue. He said, don't profane your daughter. Don't make her common. Don't let her defile herself. Because the moment she begins to defile herself, she will defile everyone around her. Why? Because men will start chasing after them and catering to what she wants instead of doing what's right. And that's where the problem comes in at. Because a lot of dudes won't stand up to a woman to tell her what's right because they scared she gonna get mad. Then if she get mad, she don't want to talk to you. She don't want to deal with you. Well, you know what? Let that rebellious woman go on about her business and let her fend for herself. That's what you have to do. Because we just talked about rebellion the other night, right? And what did that go to? You've allowed confusion or chaos to enter into your heart because you refuse to submit to the will of Elohim, who will remove that chaos from your heart or that confusion. Because we already read the other night that a woman's heart is like snares and nets. So it's seeking to trap you in chaos. So you can't allow that to happen. You have to stand up, and you have to set the regulations and standards according to the word of Yahuwah, and things have to be dictated in that fashion. And if that woman doesn't want to obey, if that daughter doesn't want to obey, then she can go on her way. And Yahuwah has already showed you that, because we're here in America having this conversation. Because we didn't want to listen, and we didn't want to obey, and we had allowed chaos to dictate what we were going to do. See, a lot of dudes be like, women be like, we'll get in order if the men get in order. It don't matter. You ain't got to get in order. If one man is in order, that's all that matters. If two men is in order, that's all that matters. You're going to be in order because you want to be in order, not because men are in order. The only reason why you would get in order if all the men would be in order, because you would have no choice, because no man would put up with your nonsense. So you would have to. And that's why we mentioned that about Isis and Horus and Pan. Because, see, Osiris will let you sin. See, Osiris is the simp. And see, and Yahuwah is the alpha. Yahusha is the alpha. Because see, there's order over here, man. I'm not the author of confusion. You can't come over here and do what you want to do. Pan say you can come over here and have sex with anything you want. Yahuwah say dress modestly. Pan say dress like a slut. Yahuwah say don't lie. Pan say what you want. Pan say do as you will. Ain't that what he say? That's what he say. Yahuwah say, be Kadash because I'm Kadash. See, that's the standard. See, because you can go over here and do what you want to do, and that's what you're going to do, because you rebel. You don't want to follow that order. That's why the framework of the woman is always mentioned, because the woman will rebel. to fulfill her desires. She has to be reined back in because she will rebel. We already know that from the garden. Eve rebelled to fulfill her desire. The man has to be there to moderate that desire because the woman will harm herself. Because she won't think about the long-term ramifications of her choice. The same way we don't as basically being children. Because see, you a child and you who is outside. See, they don't have long-term thinking. They can't see the long-term ramifications of a choice. That's what the parents there for, to moderate them. Because they'll make the wrong decision. Because they can't think 5 minutes from now, much less 5 years from now. You know what I'm saying? And truth be told, you can't think that far down the line because you ain't think about your eternal soul when you make a decision, just like a child does. Confined in the corner no more, you'll see your teachers and you'll hear your teachers, and they'll tell you, go this way, go that way. The thing is people don't want to be guided because they believe they can guide themselves, and we guide ourselves to destruction. Nevertheless, Revelation 11 and 15. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdom of this world are become the kingdoms of Yahuwah and his anointed one, and he shall reign forever and ever. And the 24 elders which sat before Elohim on their seats fell upon their faces and worshiped. And your wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, that you should give reward unto the servants, your servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and to them that fear your name, small and great, and that you should destroy them which destroy the earth. Notice he said that the nations were angry because now their power is gone. So this is why he's able to deceive Gog and Magog. The deception that he's going to use is that they can take their power back, that they can take their rule back. Because what is Yahushua coming to do? He's coming to rule. He said he'll have dominion from one end of the earth to the other. That dominion will not be relinquished. That is Ezekiel 39. All right, Eugene. You gonna go sit down? I'm in verse 7. So I'll make my Kadash name known in the midst of my people, Yasharal, and I will not let them pollute my Kadash name anymore. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahuwah, the Kadash one in Yasharal. Behold, it is come, it is done, saith Yahuwah. This is the day whereof I have spoken. They that dwell in the cities of Yasharal shall go forth and set on fire and burn the weapons, both the shields and the bucklers, the bows and the arrows, the handstaves and the spears, and they shall burn them with fire 7 years. Now, this is mentioned in the book of Job. Why are they burning all the weapons? Very simple answer. Ain't nothing. Why are they burning all the weapons? Ain't no more war. What did he tell you? There'll be no more death, no more tears, no more crying, no more pain. Ain't no more war. What's the need for weapons? Remember, Elohim is Elohim of Shalom. What is their need for warfare? Who are you fighting? The wicked have been vanquished. So that they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down any out of the forest. For they shall burn the weapons with fire. They shall spoil those that spoil them, and rob those that rob them, saith Yahuwah Elohim. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. Isaiah 14 and 1. For Yahuwah will have mercy on Jacob and will yet you choose Yasharal and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. That go back to that 1:6. Remember we read about that 1:6? So some of those are the nations that don't get deceived are still going to cleave to the house of Yasharal. What did he tell you in Zechariah 14 what would happen? He said everybody would have to come up and do what? Keep tabernacle. And he said any nation that didn't come up to honor the king Yahuwah during tabernacle, what would happen? It get no rain. Why is this a reason why this going to be happening? Because those are probably part of the nations who are mad and angry, who Gog and Magog will be able to deceive. Notice he said he wouldn't kill them, they wouldn't get no rain. Because he already knows it's in hearts of some of them they gonna buck. But they got the buck, it's written. Nevertheless. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place in the house of Yasharal, shall possess them in the land of Yahuwah for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. It shall come to pass in the day that Yahuwah give you rest from your sorrow and from your fear and from the hard bondage wherein you were made to serve. So if you got rest from the bondage from which you made to serve, you need weapons. Now, you know the difference? The difference from this one here is this is also showing you what happened to Egypt. How did he describe Egypt when you came up out of that I delivered you from Egypt, from the house of bondage? And you were supposed to come into the land to get rest from your bondage, but you rejected rest. See, in this instance of getting rest from your bondage, there will not be an option to reject, because everyone who will be there will be the ones who laid down their burdens because they were heavy laden, and Yahushua gave them rest. Come on back to Ezekiel 39. Verse 11. Pass in that day that I will give unto God a place there. That's how bad it's going to be. He said it will stop the noses, the graves. Ezekiel 39 and 11. That's where we are. Ezekiel 39 and 11. Said it shall come to pass in that day that I will give unto God a place there of graves in Yasharal, the valley of the passengers of the east of the sea, and it shall stop the noses of the passengers, and they shall bury Gog and all his multitude, and they shall call it the valley. You should notice if dead bodies laying on the ground, is the land clean or is it defiled? So that's why you got to bury all these bodies. You know what we're getting ready for, and we'll end with it. You're cleaning up the earth to get it prepared for the Father's coming. He cannot dwell in an unclean place. This is the divine sentence that comes from the lips of the king. His mouth did not transgress in judgment, because these people again rebelled from under his authority, refused to submit. So therefore he vanquished them one final time, so that everyone would know that his name is Yahuwah, that Yahushua is his anointed one, and he is the creator of heaven and earth, and every knee will bow and confess that he is Elohim and creator of all things, and serve him in righteousness, truth, peace, and pure judgment. And ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But let's continue. Yea, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renown in the day, that shall be esteemed Yahuwah of Elohim. They shall sever men of continual employment, passing through the land to bury with the passengers of those that remain upon the face of the earth to cleanse it. After the end of 7 months shall they search. And the passengers that pass through the land, when they see any man's bone, shall he set up a sign by it, till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Ham and God. Also the name of the city shall be Hamona. Thus shall they cleanse the land. And you, son of man, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, speak unto every feathered fowl and every beast of the field, assemble yourselves and come and gather yourselves on every side of my sacrifice, feast on the sacrifice of Gog and Magog. He said, you shall eat the flesh of the mighty and drink the blood of the princes of the earth, of rams, of lambs, of goats, of bullocks, of all of them fatlings of Bashan. You shall eat fat till you be full, and drink blood till you be drunken of my sacrifice, which I have sacrificed for you. Thus ye shall be filled at my table with horses and chariots, with mighty men, and with all the men of war, saith Yahuwah. And I will set my esteem among the heathen, and all the heathen shall see my judgment that I have executed, and my hand that I have laid upon them, so that the house of Yasharal shall know that I am Yahuwah their Elohim from that day forth. If you didn't know he was your Elohim, you know now. And the heathen shall know that the house of Yasharal, listen to what he tells you. And the heathen shall know that the house of Yasharal went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Okay, go greet him. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies, so they fell all by the sword. So just know that you're over here because of your lawlessness. Not because that these people are better than you. Not because they're stronger than you. Because he told you in Deuteronomy 32, how can 10,000 make one flee unless they've been delivered into the hand, by their Elohim? That's what you're over here for. Your lawlessness. In the 36th chapter of Ezekiel, you need to be ashamed. That's why I be mentioning some of the things at a time, so you could get a good, better perspective and learn how to follow, listen, and depart from chaos. Let's continue so we can wrap this up. According to the uncleanliness and according to the transgressions have I done unto them and hid my face from them. So everything that doesn't happen to us is how much we defiled and rebelled against Yahuwah. So that means all that death that you done seen happen to our people just in this land, that was according to your uncleanliness and your rebellion. So that's how much you rebelled. He said, therefore, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, now I'll bring again the captivity of Jacob, have mercy upon the whole house of Yasharal, and will be jealous for my Kadash name. After they have borne their shame and all their trespasses, where they have trespassed against me, when they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. Look, he's letting you know that this has happened after Yahushua had returned. Because look at what he said. I'll read that last part again. They have trespassed against me when they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. When I have brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their enemies' lands. That's Deuteronomy 30, right? Did he say, will you circumcise your heart? Let's look at it real quick. Let his name be esteemed and honored at all times. Deuteronomy 30, right? About verse 1. And it shall come to pass when all these things will come upon you, the blessing, the curse, which I set before you, you shall call them to mind among all the nations, whither Yahuwah your Elohim have driven you. And you shall return unto Yahuwah Elohim and shall obey his voice according to all that I command you. This day, you and your sons, with all your heart and with all your soul, that then Yahuwah your Elohim will turn your captivity and have compassion upon you and will return and gather you all the nations whither Yahuwah your Elohim have scattered you. So this is letting you know, Ezekiel 39 is after Yahushua's return. Verse 28. Then you shall know that I am Yahuwah their Elohim, which have caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen, but I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face from them, for I have poured out my Ruach upon the house of Yasharal, saith Yahuwah Elohim. Come over here to 1 Corinthians chapter 15. And if he poured his spirit out upon you, then that's the same spirit that would what? That rose you up out of that grave. See, nobody who's going to dwell in that land who doesn't possess that spirit. It doesn't matter if you're a Yahudim or a Greek. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. If you got it, you're going to be there. Because I know there's a lot of brothers tell women that they can't get it. I don't know where they get that from. I know people that tell people that the nations can't have it. I don't know where they get that from. Because Acts chapter 10 show you that the nations can get it because it fell on them. Luke chapter 2 with the prophetess Alpha show you that a woman can get it because it fell on her. Baby. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Verse 22. We're in it right here. He says, for as in Adam all die, even so in Mashiach shall all be made alive, but every man in his own order. Mashiach the first fruits, afterwards they that are Mashiach's at his coming. Then come the end, when he shall deliver up the kingdom of Elohim, even Abba, he shall put down all rule, all authority, and power. For he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death, for he have put all things under his feet. And when he say all things are put under him, it is manifest that he is expected, which did put all things under him. And when all things shall be subdued under him, then shall the Son also himself be under him that put all things under him, of everything being subdued under Hamashiach's feet. Once everything is subdued under Hamashiach's feet, then he can be under subjection to the person who gave them the ability to put all things under his feet. Because what did he tell him in Psalms 111? Sit here to what? I make your enemies your footstool. Because once Yahushua has done that, then he has to turn around and give the kingdom back to the person who gave it to him. That takes you back to Joseph and Pharaoh. Pharaoh gave Joseph that kingdom. So there would have to be a time where Joseph would have to give that authority back. Because that authority wasn't out of his own authority. That authority came from Pharaoh. Yahushua's authority comes from the Father. So once all things are complete, he gives authority back to who gave it to him. Don't remember that parable in Matthew 21, where they say he let out the vineyard to husbandmen. He said, lastly, they'll honor my son, because it's not the son's vineyard. He just has authority over the vineyard as the owner of the vineyard. Because y'all know at the ending of Ezekiel 48 and verse 35, it tells you the name of the city is Yahuwah is there. And we kind of looked at some of those things already, and prayerfully we may look at some of those things again to the manifestation that Yahuwah will be with you. But see, that's the divine sentence of the lips of the king, and his mouth won't transgress in judgment. He would not commit rebellion in judgment, because his judgment will be according to the word of his father, to render every man according to his works. But hallelujah for Yahushua the word. I appreciate y'all this evening. And I bless y'all out in the house of y'all name of Yahushua. Yahuwah willing, we'll pick it up again tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Do it again. And we got one more day. And that's Wednesday. That'd be the last day. We pick it up at 8:30 to go live. But I appreciate y'all. Yahuwah willing, just lay the heart and understand the word of Yahuwah that your soul might be saved. Yahuwah willing till tomorrow.